go a little bit more in depth here. Most of this piping is elevator hydraulic piping, like this stuff right here. I do elevators for a living, and I've been scavenging old elevator parts as much as I can off this. That intake there is a Spectre intake. It obviously draws air from that cowl below the windshield there. The Edelbrock 750 CFM carb, MSD street fire ignition, MSD blaster coil. This here is car audio distribution block, all the fuses of course. Down here we have some Bill Stein 5150 shocks with some shock hoops and other hoops here. I'm not quite done any of this stuff yet. This shifter mechanism is something that I came up with myself with some rod ends from Princess Auto and some TMR Customs gussets. Down here I made the shackles myself as well. There's some more TMR Customs Canada leaf for the bump stop there. Rod ends, all that from TMR Customs. I was having a little problem with my steering. I ordered the wrong steering box, so the old one's being shipped back, and I'm getting the proper one. New Borgeson shaft, of course. 0 gauge wire going into the back for the rear winch and all that stuff. This matting here is from Princess Auto. It was truck bed matting, and I've just cut it down. You can see there's some slits in it and stuff. I just cut it and laid it down. This is an off-road truck. I don't really care it to be a show truck. Right here, this is the Flexolite heater. And this plenum box here, it'll blow heat down on my feet, and there's also at the very top there, that isn't plumbed in yet. There's an outlet to go up to the defrost up there. Made this gauge panel, didn't order enough switches for it, but there's one of those coming too, of course. Push button start, key to on, my choke, my heater controls. The dash, of course, was just old sheet metal I had laying around. My Clarion head unit, that screen there is actually plays movies and stuff. It's not just a big screen. It actually has video outs, video ins, all that stuff. These gauges here, I had a problem with my speedometer. I ordered all of these style green LED gauges, but there was a problem with the speedometer one that I ordered. They couldn't get it. It wasn't available anymore, so I was going to switch over to readily available cheap gauges from like Canadian Tire type thing. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order the speedometer here, the big, and then get all the matching set and put them in after. Right now it's not an issue since the truck it's not on the road yet. All the original seats, rear seat, of course, the rear matting I've put in there. Down in there I plan to put subwoofer box with cup holders and maybe a 5 1/4 back there. Up here where the TMR sticker is, and also on the other side, of course, there's going to be 6.5 inch component set there. The back is going to be left open and clean for cargo, except for this one box here, which is an old elevator. It's a waterproof box out of an old elevator that I ripped out, and it's going to house all of my solenoid and distribution block for the rear power on this thing. As well, the rear here, this is all hydraulic black maul, like 2 1/4 inch pipe. I know it's not DOM like all the big guys use, but it's definitely going to be strong enough for what I want. A little bit more TMR Customs gussets here. my old 12,000 pound winch off my Jeep. It's old, and it's a Titan brand, and I have used this thing over and over and over, and this thing just won't quit. It is amazing. I winched for 2 hours straight out of snow one time when the conditions changed on me on my Jeep, and it never gave up. I've painted it trim clad flat green. I plan on keeping it like this until it gets a wrap on it. The reason why I did this is because I like to be able to touch up my stuff, because I definitely plan on wheeling it, and I plan on wheeling it hard, and I plan on you know, using it as it should. I'm not doing all this to just show it off. Bilstein shocks in the back, of course. A lot of the exhaust is not completely done and finished. I'm trying to get everything in and just put in there. You can see I've made a cross mount, and that's how I've done the shocks in the back. Down here I've done the disc brake conversion so right now I have identical calipers and rotors on all four corners, which are the Chevy style. I've changed, as my drive shaft's hanging down there, I've changed the front axle to a Dana 44 out of a K20 Blazer, so I had the proper bolt pattern. I could have used the axles that were in it, but I figured I wanted a different gearing, so I thought it would just be easier to go and source some axles with the gear ratio I wanted, and just upgrade the axles at the same time. This side I don't have the shock in yet. Fuel pump block off plate, my little face. I got electric fuel pump, goes to the regulator, the filter there, of course. Mopar Performance, you may notice I have two different valve covers. These Mopar Performance valve covers, even though they say stock height, they're not stock height. The Edelbrocks on the other side are stock height. Now, the problem I had, of course, was the clearance in between the brake booster and the valve covers. I have moved that brake booster over about an inch, and as you can see, there's, you know, maybe an inch clearance there. So I was going to put both Edelbrock covers on. However, as you may see here, there's nowhere on either Edelbrock cover to add oil. So the Mopar Performance ones have a nice little provision here to add oil, and the Edelbrock ones here are, I drilled out and put my PCV valve in, and they're both black with silver, so it's not a show truck. I'm leaving it. My battery for now, this is a brand new aluminum rad, of course. Put the fans to push through. I figured that the dirt and crap is probably better hitting that shroud and into the fans than into this radiator. New power steering pump, that was part of my kit from AGR. I used the old housing, cleaned it up, and put a new actual pump in it. There's no belts on it right now, that's why I didn't want to let it run too long. I have all the linkages and that sort of thing. That's a low car throttle cable linkage. I don't have the kickdown cable installed as of yet, but I do have a push-pull cable from a transmission that I'm going to use to do that. Brakes are not plumbed, of course, but it's coming. I think that one snazzy feature about this back seat, built-in ashtrays. You don't see that anymore. Don't see that anymore. And the other thing about this is, what's nice is that it will actually roll in and out of this garage on 40s. I don't think there's many vehicles out there on 40-inch tires that'll roll in and out of a garage. And